Have you ever spent hours studying something only to forget it the very next day? You're not alone. We've all had those moments, flipping through pages, watching videos, highlighting notes, and yet, when it matters most, our mind goes blank. It's frustrating, right? But what if I told you there's a way to remember almost everything you learn, just like Japanese students do? Welcome to the Audioquill, the place where smart learning meets simple strategies. If you're someone who wants to study better, remember faster, and perform like a topper, this audiobook is specially for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on life-changing learning hacks every week. In today's video, we're diving into the secret world of Japanese students' memory techniques. And trust me, these aren't just study tips. They're brain training rituals that can change how you learn forever. By the end of this video, you'll know the 7 powerful core themes Japanese learners use to memorize anything, from textbooks to complex formulas. So make sure you watch till the end, because even missing one could make all the difference in your results. And here's a question for you. What's the one thing you always forget while studying, no matter how hard you try? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm reading every single one. All right, let's unlock the memory secrets of Japan's top students. Let's go. Powerful Theme 1. Mastering the art of spaced repetition. One of the most powerful memory secrets used by Japanese students is something called spaced repetition. At first glance, it may sound technical or complicated, but the idea is surprisingly simple and deeply effective. Imagine your brain like a garden. If you plant a seed and water it once, it might sprout. But if you water it regularly, at just the right times, it grows strong roots and blooms beautifully. Your memory works the same way. When you review information at carefully spaced intervals, not too soon, not too late, your brain starts to recognize it as important and stores it in your long-term memory. Japanese students don't just read a chapter once and move on. They schedule their revisions, first after a few hours, then the next day, then after 3 days, then a week later, and so on. This spacing isn't random. It's based on how the brain naturally forgets things over time, something called the forgetting curve, a concept developed by psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus. Without review, we forget up to 90% of what we learn within a week. But with spaced repetition, that loss is drastically reduced. Tools like flashcards, especially digital apps like Anki, are super popular in Japan because they use this technique automatically. When a student gets a flashcard right, the app waits longer before showing it again. But if they get it wrong, it appears sooner. This way, the brain is constantly challenged at just the right moment, which makes the memory stronger each time. It's like giving your brain little workouts just before it starts to get lazy. What's really interesting is that this method doesn't just help with facts or vocabulary. It works for formulas, historical dates, and even complex ideas. It's not about repeating something 100 times in one day. It's about repeating it 10 times at the right intervals over a few weeks. That's why students in Japan can recall so much without constantly rereading everything. So ask yourself, are you studying hard or are you studying smart? Try incorporating spaced repetition into your study routine, even for just one subject, and notice how much more you remember after a few days. Have you ever used flashcards or spaced repetition before? Tell us about your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear your methods. Powerful theme 2. Active recall. Testing the brain. If spaced repetition is about when you review something, active recall is about how you do it. And let me tell you, this is the real game changer. It's one of the most underrated yet most powerful techniques used by Japanese students to boost memory retention and academic performance. While most students around the world sit for hours passively rereading their notes or highlighting textbooks in 5 different colors, Japanese students take a completely different approach. Instead of just feeding information into the brain, they constantly pull it out. And that's the magic of active recall. Active recall is the process of intentionally trying to remember something from scratch, without looking at your books or notes. Think about it. Your brain is like a muscle, and the more you make it work to retrieve information, the stronger that memory becomes. Just like lifting heavier weights builds stronger muscles, trying to recall answers without looking strengthens your brain's ability to remember things quickly and accurately. Japanese students are taught from a young age not to just read, but to quiz themselves constantly. This could be something as simple as closing your book and trying to write everything you remember on a blank page, or explaining a topic aloud to yourself as if you're teaching someone else. This forces your brain to search for the information, which builds deep neural connections. Unlike passive reading, which gives the illusion of understanding, active recall tests your understanding in real time and immediately shows you where your gaps are. In fact, many top Japanese students use something called the look, cover, write, check method. They read the information, cover it up, try to write it from memory, and then check how close they got. This process doesn't just improve memory, it builds confidence. Because when exam time comes, they've already practiced pulling out the information under pressure dozens of times. Another powerful method they use is self-questioning. Instead of just memorizing a list of facts, they turn each point into a question. For example, instead of reading the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, they write, what is the powerhouse of the cell? That tiny shift turns passive reading into active learning, and the results are incredible. So here's a question for you. The last time you studied, did you try to test yourself? Or did you just read and hope it would stick? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know how you've been studying. And here's a challenge. The next time you study, spend just 10 minutes using active recall. Close your book. Ask yourself a question. Try to answer it out loud. And then check if you are right. Do this consistently, and you'll be amazed at how much stronger your memory becomes. It's not just about reading more. It's about remembering better. Powerful theme 3. Use of visual memory tools. Let's be honest. Have you ever looked at a wall of plain text and instantly felt bored or overwhelmed? You're not alone. Our brains were never designed to remember endless paragraphs of information in black and white. That's why one of the most brilliant techniques Japanese students use to memorize better and faster is through visual memory tools. These aren't just about making notes look pretty. They're about transforming boring data into visually stimulating, brain-friendly information that sticks. Japanese students understand something deeply powerful. The brain doesn't remember words as easily as it remembers images. In fact, research shows that the human brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. That's why their notes are often filled with color-coded highlights, diagrams, charts, flow maps, and even doodles. Each visual element acts as a hook, a cue that triggers the memory of the entire concept. It's like giving your brain landmarks on a mental map. So even if you forget the road, you remember the landmarks that guide you back. For example, when studying biology or history, instead of writing plain bullet points, Japanese students might draw a timeline, a comic strip style sequence, or color different parts of a diagram. When learning vocabulary, they often associate new words with pictures or symbols. This method is especially powerful in language learning, which is why Japanese students often excel at memorizing kanji, a writing system made up of thousands of complex characters. They break each character into smaller parts, create stories around them, and even visualize scenes that represent each meaning. It turns abstract shapes into memorable mental images. They also use mind maps, a powerful tool where one main topic branches out into subtopics, and each branch is supported with small icons, color codes, or keyword bubbles. This layout mimics the way your brain stores and organizes information, non-linearly. So instead of going page by page like a book, your brain makes connections between ideas like a web. And when you try to remember something later, your mind doesn't have to scroll through everything. You just follow the branches of your mind map to the exact information you need. But here's what's important. It's not about being a great artist. It's about making your notes visually memorable to you. Even a simple stick figure drawing can help you recall a complex theory, because it creates a mental snapshot your brain can return to. That's what makes this technique so powerful. It's personal, engaging, and long-lasting. So ask yourself, are your notes helping you remember or making things harder? Have you ever tried using diagrams, color codes, or doodles to boost your memory? Let me know in the comments how you visually organize your notes. I'd love to get inspired by your methods too. And here's a quick tip. The next time you take notes, try to draw out the idea, even if it's just a rough sketch. Use different colors to separate key points and arrange information in a way that flows visually. You'll be amazed how much easier it is to recall later, not just because you saw it, but because you created it. Powerful theme 4. Building a daily study routine. One of the most striking differences between Japanese students and those from other countries is their approach to studying. They don't just cram the night before an exam. They don't wait until the pressure of a deadline forces them to study. Instead, they build a daily routine that becomes a part of their lifestyle, almost like brushing their teeth or eating meals. This daily commitment to consistent, focused study is one of the main reasons why their memory and academic performance are so exceptional. In Japan, students understand that true success in learning doesn't come from last-minute cramming, but from the steady, deliberate practice of the material over time. They develop habits that promote steady learning, and this starts with having a well-structured, consistent study routine. Their daily study routine is often broken down into specific blocks of time, with clear goals for each session. For example, they may dedicate 30 minutes in the morning to reviewing new material, followed by 30 minutes later in the day for revising older content. The key here is regularity, not overloading themselves with too much in one sitting, but ensuring their brain gets little bits of learning at consistent intervals throughout the day. This routine doesn't just focus on quantity, it's also about quality. Japanese students ensure that each study session has a specific goal, whether it's mastering a new concept, memorizing a set of facts, or practicing a skill. Every session is treated with purposeful intent, and there's always a plan in place for what will be accomplished during that time. For example, they don't just sit down to study math in general. They'll set a goal like, today, I'll master these 10 algebra problems, and then move on once that specific goal is achieved. This focus on small, achievable tasks prevents them from feeling overwhelmed and makes it easier to stay motivated. But there's more to this than just discipline. Japanese students also understand the importance of balance in their study routines. They are careful to avoid burnout by including breaks and relaxation time in their schedules. Whether it's taking a walk, doing some light exercise, or spending time with friends, they make sure their brains get a break. Studies show that the brain actually performs better when given time to rest and recharge. So this break and study balance is essential for maximum productivity. The Japanese follow a concept known as Pomodoro, where they focus intensely for short bursts, typically 25 minutes, followed by a short break. This keeps them fresh and mentally sharp while also ensuring that their study sessions don't drag on too long, leading to fatigue. Furthermore, routine is deeply embedded in the Japanese culture. This level of consistency in their daily study habits isn't something they develop overnight. It's something that starts from an early age and becomes part of their overall lifestyle. From primary school to high school and beyond, Japanese students are taught to organize their day in such a way that learning becomes a regular, even enjoyable part of life. It's a mindset that says, study is not a chore. It's a routine that helps you grow one day at a time. So think about your own study habits. Are you studying consistently or just when you have exams or deadlines? Do you have a daily routine in place, or do you find yourself scrambling to catch up? It's time to reframe how you see studying. Instead of waiting for pressure to force you into action, why not make study a part of your daily life? Start with just 30 minutes of focused study a day and build from there. You'll soon notice that your brain becomes sharper, your memory stronger, and your stress levels much lower. Building a daily study routine doesn't have to be complicated. It's about creating habits that you can stick to long term, ensuring that every day counts towards your ultimate success. Give it a try and see how your productivity soars. Powerful Theme 5. Learning by Teaching. Feynman Technique. When it comes to mastering any subject, one of the most powerful and often overlooked methods is the concept of learning by teaching. It's not just about reading textbooks or watching videos. It's about taking the knowledge you've absorbed and teaching it to someone else, or even to yourself. In Japan, this idea is deeply embedded in the way students approach their studies. They understand that the best way to truly know something is to be able to explain it in simple terms. And this is precisely where the Feynman technique comes into play. Named after the Nobel-winning physicist Richard Feynman, this technique is built on the idea that if you can't explain something clearly and simply, you don't truly understand it. Feynman himself was known for his ability to take complex scientific ideas and explain them in such a way that even a child could grasp them. Japanese students, inspired by this concept, often teach what they've learned, either by explaining concepts to classmates, teachers, or even just to themselves. They might stand in front of a mirror or imagine themselves explaining the concept to a student in their class. The goal is simple. If you can break down a complex idea into easy to understand language, you have truly mastered it. This technique works wonders for a few reasons. First, it forces you to deeply engage with the material. When you're forced to explain something, you don't just memorize facts. You have to connect the dots between ideas and think critically about the subject. You have to ask yourself, what's the simplest way to explain this? And that's where the magic happens. As you simplify the information, you uncover any gaps in your understanding. It's as though the act of teaching becomes a test of your knowledge. If you can't explain something easily, it's a sign that you need to go back and revisit that topic. But the Feynman technique isn't just about speaking or explaining. It's about simplification. The true power of this technique lies in the ability to distill complex topics into their simplest components. Take a concept like quantum physics, something that's notoriously difficult to grasp. Feynman could explain it in a way that anyone could understand, because he knew that to teach it well, he had to break it down to its most basic principles. Similarly, Japanese students use this same principle when they learn a new topic. Whether it's math, history, or science, they work hard to transform every lesson into a story they can easily explain. But here's the real kicker. When you teach others, you solidify your own understanding at a much deeper level. Think about it. If you're teaching someone else, you're forcing yourself to think in new ways. You have to anticipate their questions, simplify complex ideas, and make sure they follow along. This mental workout makes your memory stronger and helps you retain the information for longer. It's not just about memorizing facts. It's about making sure those facts make sense. In Japan, this method goes beyond just study groups. It's common for students to form study circles where they explain topics to each other. These peer-to-peer teaching sessions don't just reinforce what everyone already knows. They give everyone a chance to fill in the blanks and clarify misunderstandings. Imagine how much deeper your understanding of a subject would be if you had to teach it to someone else. It's a complete game changer. Now let me ask you, have you ever tried explaining a topic you just learned to someone else? Did it help you understand it better? Or did you realize there were parts you didn't fully grasp? I challenge you to try it out. The next time you learn something new, explain it as if you're teaching it to someone else. You'll be surprised at how much more clearly you understand the material and how much easier it becomes to remember. And if you're feeling brave, try teaching it to a friend or family member. Not only will they appreciate it, but you'll feel the benefits of reinforcing that knowledge in your own mind. Powerful theme 6. Respect for sleep and diet. When we talk about peak performance in academics, we often think of long hours, endless studying, and skipping meals to get that extra bit of work done. However, one of the most overlooked yet most important factors in academic success is something that's often taken for granted: sleep and diet. Japanese students, unlike the popular image of the all-night crammer, deeply respect the role that proper sleep and a balanced diet play in their cognitive function, memory retention, and overall well-being. They know that you can't pour from an empty cup, and you certainly can't memorize effectively or perform your best if your body isn't fueled properly or rested enough. Let's start with sleep. In Japan, sleep isn't seen as a luxury or something to be sacrificed in the pursuit of higher grades. Rather, it's considered a foundational part of the learning process. In fact, many Japanese students follow a practice of making sure they get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. The reason? Sleep plays a crucial role in consolidating memories and making information stick. Studies have shown that when we sleep, our brain reviews and organizes the information we've learned throughout the day, essentially filing it away into long-term memory. It's as though your brain is cleaning up the clutter, categorizing everything into neat drawers for easy access later. If you don't get enough sleep, that process is disrupted and your brain can't store the information as effectively. Moreover, quality sleep isn't just about quantity. It's about consistency. Japanese students follow a regular sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at similar times every day, which helps regulate their internal clock. When you're consistent with your sleep, your body and brain learn to operate at the peak during the day, making studying and learning much more efficient. If you've ever pulled an all-nighter and felt like you could barely focus the next day, you know exactly what I mean. But with proper sleep, you wake up refreshed, alert, and ready to take on the day's learning. But sleep alone isn't enough. The food you put into your body plays a massive role in how well you can concentrate, process information, and retain what you've learned. Japanese students traditionally have a balanced diet that includes a variety of nutrient-dense foods like fish, vegetables, rice, and fruit. This type of diet is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and vitamins, all of which are crucial for brain health. For example, fish, a cornerstone of Japanese cuisine, is packed with DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, a type of omega-3 fatty acid that is known to boost memory and cognitive function. Additionally, foods like green tea, which is commonly consumed throughout the day, are packed with antioxidants that help protect the brain from oxidative stress and improve mental clarity. What's especially noteworthy is the Japanese emphasis on eating mindfully. They don't simply eat for the sake of eating, they eat to nourish their bodies and minds. Meals are seen as an important part of the day, not just something to get over with so they can get back to studying. This mindful approach to eating ensures that students have steady energy levels throughout the day, without the fatigue and crashes that often come with sugar-heavy or processed foods. Smaller, more frequent meals are common, helping to maintain energy levels and prevent overeating, which can lead to sluggishness. The effects of a healthy diet on cognitive performance are well documented. Complex carbohydrates, found in rice and vegetables, provide a steady release of glucose into the bloodstream, fueling the brain for hours. Protein from fish and soy helps with the creation of neurotransmitters, chemicals that facilitate communication between brain cells. Even hydration plays a role. Japanese students are careful to drink plenty of water throughout the day, as dehydration can severely affect concentration and memory. Here's the bottom line. Without proper rest and adequate nutrition, all the study techniques and memorization methods in the world won't work as effectively. Your brain needs time to rest, recharge, and process what it's learned. And just like a car runs better on high-quality fuel, your brain runs better on high-quality food. Japanese students respect these biological needs and make sleep and diet a priority, understanding that this isn't just a way to be more productive. It's a way to be healthier, happier, and ultimately more successful in everything they do. So ask yourself, how much are you prioritizing your sleep and diet in your study routine? Do you often find yourself staying up late or eating junk food, hoping to power through your work? Think about how much more effective you could be if you gave your body the care it needs to support your learning. The next time you sit down to study, remember, a well-rested mind and a nourished body are your greatest allies in the quest for success. Take care of them, and they'll take care of you. Powerful Theme 7. Discipline and Focus. When we think about success in academics, there's one trait that stands out above all others: discipline. In fact, it's one of the key factors that separate top students from the rest. Japanese students don't just study hard, they study with discipline. They approach their studies with an unwavering commitment, and that's what allows them to consistently achieve excellence. But discipline isn't just about sticking to a schedule. It's about developing the mental strength to stay focused, push through challenges, and avoid distractions. It's a mindset, a daily practice that doesn't happen overnight, but it's one that yields extraordinary results. The first step to developing discipline is creating a system for studying that is consistent and purposeful. In Japan, students often have a structured routine for their study time. They don't leave things to chance, and they don't procrastinate. They understand that without a clear plan, distractions will sneak in and time will slip away. Every study session has a specific goal, and each goal is broken down into manageable steps. This isn't about working longer hours, it's about working smarter, staying focused, and knowing exactly what needs to be accomplished. One of the key elements of discipline in Japanese students is their ability to avoid distractions. With the rise of social media, smartphones, and the endless barrage of notifications, it's easy to get sidetracked. But Japanese students are taught to create a distraction-free environment for their studies. They put away their phones, close unnecessary tabs on their computers, and immerse themselves fully in the material at hand. This ability to stay present, to block out external noise and focus entirely on the task at hand, is a form of mental discipline that is essential for learning. The next piece of the puzzle is focus, a trait that goes hand in hand with discipline. Focus is the ability to zero in on a task without being pulled in 100 different directions. Japanese students are masters at this. They understand that true learning doesn't happen when you're half focused. It happens when you give your full attention to the material, when you immerse yourself in the process, and when you embrace the challenge rather than avoid it. They use techniques like the Pomodoro method, where they work in focused bursts of time, typically 25 minutes, followed by a short break. This keeps their mind sharp and prevents burnout. By setting a clear goal and staying laser-focused on achieving it, Japanese students maximize their productivity without getting overwhelmed. But focus isn't just about staying on task. It's also about having the right mindset. In Japan, students approach their studies with a sense of duty and respect. They don't view studying as a chore or something to dread. Instead, it's seen as a responsibility, a way to improve themselves and honor their potential. This mindset helps them maintain focus even during difficult or tedious tasks. Rather than get discouraged by setbacks, they see challenges as opportunities to grow. This shift in perspective is crucial because it turns difficult subjects or tasks into something manageable, something that can be conquered with effort and persistence. Another key aspect of discipline and focus is the ability to overcome mental fatigue. Learning isn't easy, and there will be days when the material feels overwhelming or when the temptation to procrastinate is too strong to resist. But Japanese students understand that discipline isn't just about showing up. It's about pushing through when things get tough. They learn to manage their energy and take care of their mental well-being, knowing that true focus comes not from grinding endlessly, but from finding a balance between hard work and rest. It's this consistency, day in and day out, that allows them to keep improving and avoid the burnout that so many students face. The concept of discipline in Japanese culture also extends beyond academics. It's about creating balance in life. Students are taught to maintain a balance between schoolwork, personal time, and physical activity. Whether it's through sports, hobbies, or social activities, they understand that a well-rounded life is essential for mental clarity and focus. A disciplined student isn't just someone who studies for long hours. They're someone who understands the importance of taking care of their body, mind, and emotions. So here's a question for you. How disciplined are you in your study routine? Do you find yourself getting distracted or procrastinating, even when you know you should be studying? If so, start small. Create a structured routine that includes specific goals for each session. Set aside time each day where you can be completely focused on your studies without distractions. Try out the Pomodoro technique or another time management method that works for you. Remember, discipline is built over time, and it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Every time you make a conscious effort to stay focused and avoid distractions, you're strengthening that muscle of mental discipline. Keep pushing yourself, and soon enough, it will become second nature. So, if you followed all 7 chapters in this video, I can guarantee that you're on the right path to success. By adopting the methods that Japanese students use, like mastering spaced repetition, practicing active recall, utilizing visual memory tools, building a daily study routine, teaching what you learn, respecting your sleep and diet, and embracing discipline and focus, you're setting yourself up for long-term academic success. These habits aren't just about studying harder. They're about studying smarter and cultivating a mindset that will stay with you for life. But remember, success isn't just about knowing these techniques. It's about taking action. Make these habits a part of your daily routine and watch how your learning, productivity, and overall well-being improve. You have the power to shape your future, and now you have the tools to do so. If you found value in this video and want to learn more about effective study strategies, productivity tips, and life-enhancing techniques, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Audioquill. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the upcoming videos that will help you unlock even more secrets to success. And if you know someone who could benefit from these tips, share this video. Let's build a community of learners who are determined to be their best selves. Thank you for watching. And remember, Success is a journey, not a destination. Let's take it together. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and always keep learning. See you in the next video.